Hello, everybody. Oh, let me get these off. Hello, everybody. It's Don once again. Thanks for joining me live. I hope you enjoyed the premiere. It was always a fun thing to do, put those things together. Oh, let me get this so I can see it. There we go. Sorry. So we got 15 people here so far. Okay, that's good. Anybody got any questions? When we get started? Because if you don't, I got 3 topics today that we can discuss that I have actually prepared for. If I can find my list. Ah, yes. So the things that we can talk about today, or I plan to talk about, some interesting online posts. One was the amenity cap. I'd like to talk to everybody about that, and that's always an interesting topic. Brownwood Theater. There's been a whole bunch of crying, it's the best word I can come up with it, about the Brownwood Theater. And then there was an email that was recently put out by a group called Take Back Sumter. And I want to discuss it and show you what the facts are, because it is full of fiction. Mark says, hi, Don, enjoy the premiere. Sorry, golf game was a bit rough for you. It wasn't rough. It was normal. I'm not a good golfer, but I enjoy it. I truly do. I get to take my frustration out on a little wet ball. Let's see. Ed Starr says, Don, any idea when Marsh Bend Trail for golf carts will be open from McNeil Drive to Central Parkway? From McNeil to Central Parkway. Okay, on Marsh Bend Trail. I know what you're talking about now. I covered that in a previous video. We flew all the way down. It's still coming along. Probably won't open up until about the same time that they're working on the village of Lakeview. And that's just because of the sheer amount of traffic that's going to be going in and out across there. So it's probably going to be another few months. It is basically complete at this point. When I was flying, I noticed that they've completed all the sections. But yeah, that would be a nice advantage going up Marsh Bend Trail instead of swinging out wide to McNeil and back. Anyway, so yeah, there was a comment on the premiere about the lack of maps, and yeah, I'm having some difficulties with doing my data conversion, and it's taking way too long. Let's see. Waterfowl 777. I'm assuming maybe you fly a 777. Anyway, has there been any discussion about a possible left-hand turn signal at Megason Road and State Route 44? At certain times of the day, the traffic coming out of Brownwood can be difficult. Yes, there is. And that's something that's in the county's hands right now. It was originally supposed to be part of the whole State Route 44 work that was done by the state. There was some miscommunications, so it's going to be addressed. Unschool says, do you track the trajectory of lot prices in the villages? Are they generally going up or pretty stable from one year to another, lot quality being equal? Yeah, that's a very interesting question. When I bought my house that I'm in right now 10 years ago, it was a courtyard villa. And it was a corner lot. I'm literally on the corner of Buena Vista and Hillsborough Trail. My lot is about 10,000 square feet, which is nearly twice the size of a typical courtyard villa lot. I had a $51,000 or $52,000 premium. That was 10 years ago. That was quite a bit. The new house I just bought It's down in Moultrie Creek. It had a $100,000 lot premium. Lot size is a little bit smaller than my Courtyard Villa lot, amazingly. But it was a water view. So, when we look at some of the lots that were put up for sale about 5 years ago in Marsh Bend, they were $250,000, $300,000 on water view lots and golf course view lots. So they kind of go up and down. When we look at what was the name of it? The Enclave. Those lot prices are pretty typical of what they were for over in Conservation Trail and in what's the name of the one? It's got Independence Street on it. Anyway, it's on the corner of Morse Boulevard and Hillsborough Trail. The inside lots were pretty much the same. So I don't think they've changed significantly. So Terry wants to know, do you think at any time the village is considered annexing a part or all of Adamsville? Annexing it? No. They're not going to annex property in that they have no control over. Much of Adamsville is a trailer park. There's a few site-built homes there. They're not going to inherit problems. I know that they did try and buy a lot of the property, and they did buy some of it, but no, it didn't. They're not going to do anything with Adamsville. Let's see. Victoria says, great intro video, lots of updates. I see only 2 pups. Actually, there are 3 pups in the pen right now. The 4th one is wandering around in the living room because he's getting ready to go home. We just sent another one home about at 1:30. So we are going to be down to 3 pups, and I have someone who's interested in Thor. I got to take some pictures of them. They're looking for a dark golden that, they saw Lily, who is absolutely gorgeous but dark. And I got to get them some pictures. It's hard with golden retrievers because as pups they're all this fawn colored, and then they darken or lighten as they grow. The big thing is the color of their ears. At about 5 to 6 weeks old, the color of their ears is a pretty good signal on what color the dogs are going to be. All right. So Ian B says, hi, Don, enjoy the videos. Do you expect the bonds on the new homes in Richmond and Marabella Villas will be relatively low because most of the infrastructure in those areas was previously in place? No. I expect them to be probably their Courtyard Villas in the $25,000 range, $25,000 range. Because it's actually more expensive to build there than anywhere else because of the confines of the work that they're doing. When they're doing a large area, it's much easier to work and it's much more economical. But as far as infrastructure, there was no real infrastructure in place there. They had to tap into existing water and sewage lines. They had to tap into existing electrical lines. But in that location, there wasn't anything because it was just the Hacienda Hills Country Club and swimming pool. Any word on boosters, Carrie wants to know. Another month or so. When I was there playing golf, you could look in, and they were doing a lot of interior work. But, bringing a restaurant online is, it's a big challenge. It truly is a big challenge to do something like that. Jim DeCastro says, Independence is in LaBelle. I know where you're talking about. There's another one. Oh, Enterprise, not Independence, Enterprise. Wrong aircraft carrier. Sorry. Anyway, thank you, Jim. Bubbles Playhouse. Okay, sure. Hi, Don. Do you think we'll ever get a Trader Joe's? That's entirely entirely up to Trader Joe's. The property's here for them to build. Whether they come here or not is entirely up to them. If you heard some whining just now, that's Sully. He's in here with Lily. We're not letting him out of the office because they tend to go wild when they meet new people. And like I said, we have people coming to pick up Braveheart. He goes home today. Ooh, one of them made a deposit in the pen. I'll have to get that cleaned up. Anyway, sorry. Let's see. Mark Morgan says, any word on which grocery store will go into Middleton? Met a Middleton resident who says they're hoping it will be a neighborhood Walmart as the prices are lower for families. No, so there's been no word announced other than, yeah, it's going to be a grocery store. That was in the Daily Sun the day that they announced the opening of the bank. Walmart neighborhood market would suit me fine. I like the Walmart neighborhood market. You get the prices of a super Walmart without all the junk that you don't need to buy. I don't need to buy blue jeans and underwear when I go grocery shopping, and that's a definite distraction in the super Walmart. I actually lived in Bartlett, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Memphis, and we had roughly a half a mile from us one of the very first Walmart neighborhood markets built. And it put the Piggly Wiggly store and an Albertson store out of business within a year because it was so popular. Any updates? So Terry wants to know, any updates on the new Costco? Yes, Jim, Enterprises in Charlotte. So the new Costco, if you watch the premiere video, the crickets, no, there's no new updates on it. I don't know what's happening. It's, these things take time to get rolling. All right. So we've burned through all those questions. Let's get started on some of the other stuff that I have. So I wanted to talk about, sorry about the background noise. That's Sully getting upset because there's somebody in the house and he can't visit him. Anyway, the Brownwood Theater. So, Sully, hey, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come on. You can be, yeah. He gets excited whenever he hears somebody. Anyway, the Brownwood Theater is not going to open. Okay, I don't care how many petitions you have. Come here. It's a failing industry. The movie theater industry is, and it's a what you call it? It's a failing industry. It's a business, and businesses need to make a profit. Come here. Come here. Come here, buddy. Oh, my goodness. My goodness, you're all excited. All right, here. Can you say hello to people? Yeah, you're already talking too much. Sorry. But, if these folks that sign this petition, 3,500 people, they need to come back to reality. Okay? The purpose of a business is to make money. And if it doesn't make money, it goes out of business. That's the bottom line. The developer's not going to open up something that is going to lose them money. There are movie theaters are closing across the country. My apologies for Sully. They're closing across the country. And hey, sorry, come here. Come here. Come on. Be good. Don't be excited. Don't be excited. All right. My good boy. Anyway, they why go to a movie theater and spend $12, $14 on a ticket plus another $10 for a bucket of popcorn when for $6 I can rent it on Netflix or Amazon Prime and spend another $1.50 on a bag of Orville Redenbachers and drink a beer and not have to pay $5 or $8 for a beer. It's just a losing market. Again, if somebody wants to open it up and invest their money and lose it, that's their prerogative. They can do that. But a smart business person won't do it. All right. So let's see. Don wants to know, since Shallow Creek is open, what is the next championship golf? So Woodlands, yes, would be the next one. It's the farthest along. They're just now, they're doing retention ponds for the meadows. Is there more after that? Coming? Yeah, I think so. No, I know so. But, those are several years down the road. But let's see. Next. I'm delaying on the rest of them until the folks leave who are picking up Braveheart. Once they leave, then I'll let these two out, and I can talk in peace. So Sherry said, hi, Don. We recently drove by the Villages High School and noticed they are changing out all the windows. Any idea what happened to require this on such a new building? The entire school campus is impressive. It is impressive. My understanding was there was a problem with the hurricane ratings of the windows, and it's... Hey, come on now, you're disturbing everybody. The manufacturer is carrying the cost for replacing these. They've got to be safe. So, it's certainly not costing the taxpayers or the county anything or the school district anything, because that's all run by a 501c3 that funds the charter school. And I apologize, folks, for the dog. And anyway, and the developer funds that 501c3. So, it's an important aspect of it. Let's see. Simply Creative Caulking says, hi, Don. Is there any word on expected shopping or business centers coming to the southern area as Moultrie as I lost my place here. Something came in. All right. Simply Creative Caulking just deleted his message. All right. Ebb 2000 said, I asked this in an earlier video, but you must not have seen it. In season, the southbound traffic on Morse Boulevard at 44 is backed up past the traffic light to Rohan. Past the traffic circle to Rohan. Any chance they will address this? They will address this. So that has to be addressed by the county, and they need to do a traffic study. If it doesn't happen by November, I know one candidate who it's going to be on their agenda to get a traffic study done so we can justify using it. That's what impact fees would be used for, to widen that. Karen P. says, does the Villages actively market potential retailers, or do they do their own research and inform the Villages that they are interested in coming? Absolutely on both. The Villages has a whole retail marketing division that is actively pursuing getting new vendors and merchants in, and it is a full-time task for a large group of people. They are they're actively doing it. My understanding is it took about 3 years to get Costco here, and when you look at Middleton, they've in the newspaper they made a bunch of announcements about all these different kind of stores coming here. They're actively recruiting and trying to find new merchants to come here. They have to fit, though. And the other thing is, one thing that you'll notice, you don't see direct competitors coming into the same area. So you won't see Winn-Dixie and Publix in the same area. They're going to be separated. You're not going to see two hamburger restaurants in the same shopping plaza because they don't want them to be competing against each other directly. They're trying to take care of their merchants, and you know, that's just part of it. Let's see. Jim says, I know. Okay, so my wife is shedding tears because we lost another puppy today. We're down to 3. But anyway, so Jim asks, I know the district is moving into the old style center in Brownwood. The developer could shut down chatter on the theater if something moved in, although that did not stop Katie Bell's complaining. So, you know, I don't know what they're working on to get somebody to move in there. Got to remember, that's a very, very special kind of establishment just because of the structure of it. Yes, it's big, but don't forget the floors are all sloped in the theaters. So, you know, if they were to move something in, you know, would they fill it with concrete? I don't know. Would they build something? It would be a huge conversion. So it's anybody's guess what they can do with that. And you're right. It didn't stop with complaining at Katie Bell's. Katie Bell's had been losing money for years, and they finally just stopped the bleeding. Amazingly, they could not make a profit selling ice water and air conditioning to people as they sat there to watch the entertainment. It wasn't fair for the merchant. It wasn't fair for the employees who were making nothing in tips because people weren't buying meals and things like that. You know, when we first got here 10 years ago, and when we did our lifestyle preview, we went there. My wife had been a waitress for many years. I had waited tables for a couple of years. And, you know, we both looked around and said, you know, how are they making money? Because nobody was buying anything. Nobody was buying any food. Diane says, Dawn, any chance for a hardware store coming to Middleton? How about a Panera in Eastport? Thanks. Don't know anything about Eastport. They have been so tight-lipped on that. You know, they're being very secretive. They haven't said, you know, these things are coming. The only thing we know of is a golf cart store, Villages Golf Cart, Citizens First Bank, guess who owns that, and Villages Health. Those are all right there along Central Parkway. But everything else is very quiet. They have been a little more forthcoming in Middleton with information. But yeah, as far as a hardware store coming to Middleton, that would be nice. I don't know. That seems like a pretty hard sell. You know, because I haven't seen in any of the other town squares any kind of hardware store. You know, if there's an outlying shopping plaza, you know, kind of like where Target is and things like that up in the Spanish Springs area that the developer owns, then I can see it coming there. But you know, these town squares are they command premium dollars. You know, I know Middleton isn't really a town square because it doesn't have entertainment, but it's very similar. But they command premium rents because of that golf cart accessibility feature. That's huge. BK says, as a prospective county commissioner, what do you perceive as the most important animal rights initiative for Sumter County? Animal rights initiative for Sumter County. Well, so there's two things here. One, I think we're doing the county animal control is doing a good job. They just went to a large animal adoption event just south of here, and I think they got like 50 some animals adopted. So that was huge, and that's important. But I'll tell you, I've been to the animal shelter. It's heartbreaking seeing these poor animals in there. What's heartbreaking is a good percentage of them, as far as the dogs go, are I forgot the name for the breed, but they're commonly called pit bulls and pit bull mixes. And unfortunately, the majority of the population in Sumter County doesn't have a great desire to adopt a pit bull. The problem is not the dogs. It is the people who are breeding them and not caring for them. And me personally, I would like to see some very stiff penalties and fines enacted for the people that are found guilty of these animal abuses, where we have to take, the county has to take animals away. Make Sumter County an unfriendly place for animal abusers and these people that raise animals for less than honorable purposes. I'm talking about dog fighting and things like that. And unfortunately, there have been a few bait dogs found in Sumter County, and it's heartbreaking. And building a bigger shelter doesn't solve the problem. Okay, because all you get then is more animals that are room for more animals to sit there for months. There was when I first came into office as a county commissioner 2 years ago, there was a pit bull that was there for like 535 days. I mean, what kind of quality of life is that? There is no quality of life. She finally got adopted, which was great. But I felt for her. I mean, that's nearly 2 years, year and a half, 2 years of their lives. And that's no way for an animal to live. We're working hard to find good homes for our pups. And, again, they all go home with the understanding that if the individual who takes and purchases one of our dogs can't care for the dog, doesn't want to care for the dog, I don't care what the reason is. The dog is never to go to an animal shelter or a rescue. The dog comes back to me. I will find it a new home. I will take care of it. I will make sure it's properly cared for. These were a lifelong commitment that I made when I allowed Sully and Lily to breed both the first and the second time. Not everybody wants a full-grown dog or a dog that may have problems. Many people want a golden retriever. They're a very highly desirable breed. They're one of the top 3 breeds in the country. They want to raise them, themselves, and make them bond with them and grow with them. I know for me, my 5 Goldens that I've owned over the years, they mean the world to me. And I could never imagine being without them and losing them. Anyway, let's move on. Terry says, any word on development west of 301 and Marsh Bend Trail? So interesting, Terry. I know that they're tearing down the old motocross track. I think it's gone. I haven't looked at that specifically in a couple of weeks. But the last time I looked, it was coming down. So I heard an interesting rumor about a hospital going there. Another company trying to build a hospital outside of the developer. I hesitated even saying that because I haven't seen anything that documents it. So I don't really like talking about things that I can't find documented evidence, documents. that support what I say. Prime example, I hear questions about it all the time. What's going in front of the Village Has Grown? I got a pretty good idea what's going in there. My sources are pretty reliable, but I won't betray my sources on what they say because they've trusted me. I'm looking for the documentation, and as soon as I find it, baby, it's coming out. It's coming out. Anyway, I'll break the news. If I can beat somebody else to the punch, as I've done a couple of times, then I will. All right. So Wendy says, "Hi Don. Any word on new businesses expected in the southern villages near Moultrie Creek besides Eastport and Middleton, shopping plaza or otherwise?" Nope. Haven't heard anything yet. Jim wants to know, do you think there will be a membership fee to use the indoor area of Olympia Rec Center? Everyone is so excited, and I'm afraid this will be the case. Will Middleton residents be able to use Olympia? Okay, so I don't know. There hasn't been a whole lot said about the indoor area, other than, hey, a rock climbing wall. Just what I want to go do, climb up a rock climbing wall. Sorry. But as far as the cost, I don't know. I know that, the fitness centers in some of the regional recreation centers, they do charge, but I don't know if there's going to be a charge at Olympia. Will Middleton residents be able to use Olympia? So Middleton residents are, they have their own amenities. They are not allowed to use, they don't have a village's ID that allows them to use the amenities there. So Olympia, I would say no. And Amovan 2010 says, I've already said it before and heard it, and you heard it here first. Walmart is going to buy the Village Has Grown 44 and Morse. It's going in. Okay. It's going in by the Village Has Grown 44 and Morse. And you spelled buy the wrong way. You put B-U-Y. That's what means purchase. It caught me off guard. Again, I can neither confirm nor deny anything that's going in there. All right. Wow, we have been burning through this. We've been online about half an hour. We got 186 people. So you know what? We're going to talk real quick about the amenity cap, and then we're going to go on to an email that came out recently. So there's been a lot of talk about the amenity cap and reinstating it. And it's quite simply not financially feasible. And yeah, I know it was a typo, Amovan. It just caught me off guard when I was reading it. So let's talk about why the amenity cap existed first, okay? And it wasn't a cap. It was called a deferral rate. It was a one-year commitment that was renewed year after year for about 9 years. It limited the amenity fee to $155. And once you reach that, it stopped going up. There's more to it than that, but we'll get back to it. The purpose behind it was we had a big disparity between amenity fees. So the goal was to try and bring all the lower ones up. And by the time they released it, I think they said there was like 85 homes that weren't within $20 of the deferral rate. So it was almost reached its goal. The problem was the amenity fees stopped going up, but costs continue to go up. Imagine that, prices continue to increase. And we were about 2 years away from having to dip into capital reserves to start funding the day-to-day operations. That's not the way we do things. That's not the way a sound business works or a sound government works. You don't run your house that way by living off your savings account. So the deferral rate in, I believe it was 19, was removed. And there were some people upset about it. I understand many people are on fixed income. That doesn't change the fact that costs continue to go up and costs have to be met. At this point, we would have depleted a significant portion of our capital reserves or our what's called a repair and replacement fund had the deferral rate not been removed. And yes, I was on PWAC at the time, and I voted to remove it because it did not make financial sense. We have to think, if we'd kept it on, either we deplete our amenity, our repair and replacement reserves, or we start cutting service. Okay, it doesn't work. If you cut services, you think we had a furor a couple of months ago over the conditions of the golf courses? Guess what? Repair and replacement funds paid for all the upgrades on the repair. I don't want to call it repair work, but all the necessary improvements that went into the golf courses this past spring. That's what they're there for, repair and replacement funds. We wouldn't have had those funds. Some people say, well, they're building all these new houses. Yes, that's called organic growth. As they build new houses, there are more amenity fees coming in, but they're also putting up more amenity fees, and the operating costs continue to rise. So, you put two taxi cabs on the road. Each taxi cab has to pay for itself. You put another taxi cab, you get more passengers, but you put another road. Anyway, I digress. So, it has to go up. Are they going to reinstate it? No, it would be a financial disaster. I apologize if those on fixed incomes can't afford it, but did anything go down in price? No. The only way it goes up, though, really is with what's called a CPI adjustment. It goes up annually, and that's the only thing that's going to allow it to go up for homeowners that are in their home. You want to say, no, you can't have a pay raise. No, we're not going to pay those high prices for toilet paper. Well, okay, then we're not going to have toilet paper. We're not going to have people there. Anyway, let's see. Bubbles Playhouse says, another question is, L Sports Pool is always super busy. It seems it seems to cover a lot of population. Is there going to be another traditional regional recreation center farther south, including a sports pool? So, in the areas on that side of the turnpike, no. Right now they're building Olympia, and there is a sports pool going in for it. It's shown on the drawings. But will there be another regional recreation center? Of course there will. When will they build it? Where will they build it? I don't know. Regional recreation centers are very expensive to build, and they are very limited in number. But they're, let's call them special purposes. They're building the village recreation centers. They're building Saint-Tropez. There's another one going in Oak Hollow. They just opened Saluki, so those are much more common, and they have their pools also. Let's see. Catherine says, "Hi Don, apologies if you've already covered. Why has the Villages dropped in ranking to 4th place in recently surveyed best places to retire in Florida?" That's an opinion piece. Maybe best places in Florida tried to get the Villages to advertise, and they said no. I don't know. It's entirely their opinion. I still think it's the best place to retire in Florida. Mike B says, any word on when boosters will open? No, nothing yet. Again, I heard rumors of a month or so. We'll see. That's all we can say. Catherine says, can you clean exterior of home, water plants, wash cars on an off-day cycle for watering? Yes, you can. They schedule the watering. Part of the reason the way this watering schedule is to limit the utilization of capacity of the system. As big as the area is, it takes a lot of water to water all these areas. So they break up the watering cycle to take it easy on the system. I water today, my neighbor waters tomorrow. So there's only one house watering on those 2 days. And that's what it is. But you can still water. There are exceptions to the watering policy. If you're just now planting or something like that, planting grass or hand watering, then that's perfectly acceptable. Clean the exterior home, yeah, you can pressure wash or whatever you need to do. It's no problem. Mike B says, did I hear correctly in that no designer home sites will be released in the newer part of Richmond? So they're designer homes, but it doesn't look like they're going to do any custom builds based on where it's happening or what's being built right now. I drove by there yesterday, and there are spec homes going in and foundations being poured, going from the entrance all the way around to Buena Vista where the wall ends. We'll continue to keep an eye on it, but right now it doesn't look like they're going to do custom builds. If they were, then they probably would have been on the water at the southern end of Richmond, but it doesn't look that way. Mark Ryan says, any thoughts on getting whole home surge protection system installed? So under the Florida Electrical Code that went into effect the first of the year, whole home surge suppression is required. I didn't see it in my breaker box when I was doing my home inspection for the investment property that I purchased earlier this year, and I questioned them on it, and they said, can you show us a picture of the outside electrical box? I ate a big piece of humble pie that day because I opened up the outside electrical box, and there it was, the whole home surge suppression. So let's talk about surge suppression. I have some experience in this. I worked in the security industry in construction for many years and installed a great many surge suppressors. Many people call them lightning suppressors. I got news for you. There is nothing man can build that will stop the surge from a bolt of lightning. Okay? Surge suppression will help on a nearby lightning strike, so maybe your neighbor 2 doors down gets hit. There's a lot of dampening that occurs in the wiring between the houses, so that helps. Victoria, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your donation. Is it a good idea? It's certainly not a bad idea, especially with the cost of our equipment. Our electronics in our homes, computers and laptops. I mean, for me, you don't see it too much, but I got about probably $20,000 worth of computer equipment here in my office. Between the 2 PCs, I got 2 laptops, I got 4 printers. Don't ask. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd when it comes to computers. I have surge suppression underneath my desk that suppresses for everything that I have plugged in. But I think it's a good idea. But I would go with more localized and protect the individual devices. If you're relying on one thing to protect everything, it's probably not going to work. Oh, man. All right. Whew. All right. So let's get on to the email that came out recently. There is a group called Take Back Sumter. Excuse me. I'll answer Kevin's real quick. Kevin K says, about what percentage of homes in the villages have full home backup generators such as Generac? Man, I'm going to say, Kevin, a very small number. I've driven around a lot. There are a handful, but most homes do not have it. All our electrical is underground. So unless a transformer or a substation takes a hit, our electrical system is pretty good. I mean, during Katrina, was it not Katrina? Irma. Katrina, man, that's dating myself, I guess. But during Irma, where I live, we lost power for about 10 hours. I ended up finally breaking out my generator, getting it hooked up to my freezer, got it all running, and 45 minutes later, guess what happened? No, the generator didn't break. The power came back on. So that's the answer. Just keep your generator stored. When the power goes out, when you're ready for it to come back, just dig it out, drag it out, get it fired up and hook up everything, and the power will come back shortly thereafter. It's just like, how do you get it to rain? Go outside and wash your car. Anyway, so let's talk about this email here that came out. So this is the email that came out. Take Back Sumter Voters Newsletter. Our mission is to help the voters of Sumter County make informed choices. Well, that's a great concept, but we need to look at what this thing says and really understand what they said. So I looked at this and I went, no, this is incorrect. It's grossly inaccurate. Let me go over here. We'll go to the next slide. So let's take and read what it says. Here it says, example 1, in Lake County, the total impact fee collected when building permit is issued is $12,978 on a 1,500 to 2,500 square foot home. The fee is for roads, fire, school, parks, and library. Sumter County only has a $972 road impact fee for a new home in the villages. The rest of the new infrastructure funding is buried in the Sumter County millage rate on all those property tax bills in the county, including yours. Per the village's real estate operations, they sold 3,103 new homes in 2023. Assuming all those homes were built in Sumter, the developer avoided paying $37.3 million in impact fees compared to Lake County. The $37.3 million is only 1 year. So let's clear up the first misinformation. The developer doesn't pay impact fees. The home buyer does. The businesses do that are building it, okay? The developer doesn't pay it. They just pass it along. How do I know that? Right here. This is my closing statement. And it goes through on this side right here and says everything that I'm paying. Okay? And then it shows at the bottom, the full dollar amount. And then it says seller paid. And the seller, guess what money they start with? The money I just gave them. And under the seller paid, which would be the developer, they have the impact fee. For me, it was I just saw it here just a second ago. $1,361.50 under county or city county permit fee and impact fee. So that $972 was in that. Okay. If we look at Lake County, okay, and here's their statement again. On a 1,500 to 2,500. Excuse me, just hit the mouse too much. They quote this 1,500 to 2,500 square foot new home. Here's the problem. You don't pay that for an age-restricted property. There is a special section here, and it's called active adult community. Okay, but here's those impact fees. And it's divided up into 4 regions. Each region has a different amount that they pay based on need. This is for the western region, which is where the Villages area falls into. And there's this thing called active adult community. When you read the code for the Lake County, the Villages falls under active adult community. Even though this is talking about multifamily, when you read the code, it does specifically talk about dwelling units and active adult communities, and the Villages meets that criteria. So when we look here, the first thing we see is school exempt. Makes sense, right? Okay, no big deal. Fire $380, park $211, library $215, admin fee $36.90, and roads is $424. Sumter County is $970 whatever. So roads is less. Now let's talk about parks. Okay, the Villages builds their own parks. Okay, they build their recreation centers. So we're not having an impact on the county assets, okay, because we have our own assets in the Villages. So we take that out, and we take out the admin fee, and we're at about $1,000. Now let's talk about fire. Okay, $380 for fire. Guess what? And this, we're going to get more into detail on this, but the Villages builds the fire stations out of their pocket. The county isn't building them. Okay, so don't need that. Now we're less than. Interesting, isn't it? I don't know why they quoted this other property, because that's general residential. For age restricted or active adult community, as we see, it's significantly less. So when you take this and $37 million, all of a sudden becomes a lot less than that, like 1/10 that. The other thing that they say is, well, there's 3,100 homes sold last year in the Villages, and they're saying, assuming that they're all in Lake or in Sumter County or in Lake County, well, all in Sumter County, they avoided paying it. No. If we look at last year, that 3,100 homes, Newell, Lake Denham, and Dabney were the primary constituents of that for new homes. Yes, there was a few in Sumter County, a very small few. So those were in Lake County. So they paid taxes in Lake County. Okay? And they didn't have an impact on Sumter County. So again, more false statements. What else was there in there? Oh yeah, the rest of the infrastructure. Let's talk about the rest of the infrastructure. Buried in the millage rate. Well, let's see. Water and sewer. Oh, nope. The Villages built the Gibson utility facilities. That's a wastewater treatment plant over by the new fire station. And there's 2 wells that were built. One is over by the Bexley or Southern Oaks Bridge, and the other is over by the new high school. That didn't cost the county anything, so there's no reason for an impact fee. We didn't tie into the county they didn't tie into the county facilities, so there's no impact there. Electrical, they put in all the electrical. Now who's paying for that? Well, the home buyers are. That's part of what goes into your bond, okay, to put in this infrastructure. So this thing is just so full of false statements, it's unbelievable. Again, I contacted a friend of mine, Jim, who's asked some questions here today. He bought a house last year in Newell. His amount on his closing statement was $901 for that line item of city county taxes, or excuse me, what do they call it again? Anyway, the permitting, there's the line item I'm looking for. I have the wrong glasses on. City county permit impact fees. His says 901, mine says 1361. So this information is completely inaccurate. All right. So again, assuming all those homes were built in Sumter, again, it wasn't. They didn't avoid paying anything. They paid impact fees. Interestingly, we only have the road impact fee. The rest of the road, so those go to expanding capacity, and that's what's building. It's what built the new bridge. It's building McNeil. It's building Bexley Trail. Many of the other ones in the county road agreement. In the county road agreement, they pay for these roads out of impact fees. Well, there was just an impact fee study done to figure out, do we need to adjust it? The answer is yes, we need to adjust it for inflation. What's not been readily publicized is when they look at the county road agreement, it cost roughly $1 million less per lane mile for the developer to build the same roads that they build anywhere else in the state. Now, there's some reasons for that. They don't have to do right-of-way acquisition. They don't have to do retention ponds. That all goes into the existing retention ponds that the developer's already building. Engineering, the developer does. It also takes away a lot of risk from the county. If the county was to contract and build the road and they get behind schedule, and now a developer says, well, I can't sell my homes because you're behind schedule. Next thing you know, we could have a lawsuit, and who knows, if they find a three-toed squirrel that's on the endangered species list or something like that, and they got to move the road bed a little bit. Now they've got to reacquire land, and that's additional cost. And so, yeah, the county road agreement is a great tool. That's why Lake County entered into one for County Road 470. All right. Here we go. The Village's Public Safety Department Dependent District. This is always a handful of words. The VPSDDD was established less than a year ago by the Board of Sumter County Commissioners. Absolutely true. The VPSDDD boundaries were defined to include the current villages in Sumter County and the developers' plans for the massive expansion of the villages in Sumter County. Yes, they are long-term planning. Okay. That expansion will require several new fire stations and fire equipment. Funding should come from a fire impact fee paid by the developer. Once again, the developer doesn't pay impact fees. They just pass them on, and others, on new construction within the VPSDDD. However, the County Commission did not give the VPSDDD board the power to establish a fire impact fee. Therefore, the current property owners within the VPSDDD will be taxed to pay for the new fire stations and equipment. So, let's get some facts out here. They could not give them that authority under state law. That has to be approved by the Board of County Commissioners. This was asked by myself and several other county commissioners. Can we do this? The answer is no, but they can ask. If VPSDDD asks the county commissions to establish a fire impact fee, then it can be established, okay? But it's just the way the laws are written, okay? Sumter County has not ruled it out. And they, because we're trying to let them, or the VPSDDD, run their own show, okay? The developer is paying for the new fire stations and equipment, and they are then, it's a lease to own, as I understand it, option to pay for it. So here's the difference. It's lease to own is basically at cost. If they were to have to take out a loan or a bond, then they have to pay interest. It's going to cost more because they don't have the money right now, because that money comes as the homes are being built. So this is actually a pretty good deal. And the amount it's costing each homeowner, I think I remember seeing in the presentation it was like $2 or $3 a month or something like that. The advantage is also that, with new equipment coming in, if it has to be relocated, there's no issues with, let's say an engine breaks down for Station 51. They can move one out of 48 or 38 over to there, which would have been paid for by this imaginary fire impact fee. Now, there's no issue with doing that in this respect. They had the option. That's not what the board chose to do. And, don't second guess the county commission. That was the board's decision. They also say there is another rapid growth region in Sumter County in a portion of Wildwood located in the Sumter County Fire Department service area. Only one new fire station with new equipment is needed. The county plans to institute a fire impact fee on the new buildings within the service area of that new station. The same fire impact fee methodology should be used within the VPSDDD so that the current residents will not be taxed for the expansion of the villages. Action is needed by the Sumter County Commissions to establish a fire impact fee inside of the VPSDDD so that the current residents are not taxed for the expansion. If the county commissioners are developers' puppet, this will not happen. Okay, once again, it belongs to the VPSDDD to ask for it. And then I'm pretty sure the county commissioners will approve it. Okay, and here we go with developers' puppets. But we'll get back to that statement here in a few minutes. So here's a great statement. This is also in the email. Can the residents of Sumter County trust commissioners who have accepted thousands of dollars in campaign donations from those who benefit from the expansion of the villages? Who benefits from the expansion of the villages, ladies and gentlemen? I will tell you, each and every one of us that live here in Sumter County benefit from it, because there's an old expression, what doesn't grow dies. Okay, the continued growth of the villages in Sumter County, as well as the continued growth of our business community in Sumter County, benefits everyone, because it keeps our taxes lower. Think of it this way. The villages could stop building tomorrow. We got 15,000 people directly involved in the construction of the villages. Okay? What happens to their jobs? They go away. There's a bunch of other supporting jobs. They go away. Okay? Unemployment skyrockets. People are going to move away. Guess what happens when people move away? They sell their houses. If there's not a good job market here, housing prices drop. If housing prices drop, that affects everybody. That affects the residents in the villages and outside of the villages. What else happens? Johnny the plumber moves away because he's got no job because they stopped construction. His wife, guess what? She goes with him. Oh, she happened to work at maybe the village's hospital. Now they're short a nurse. Their kids, maybe one works at Publix and the other one works at McDonald's or Winn-Dixie or whatever. They lose employees. Okay. These businesses also lose business because those county residents, these people that work, they're without jobs. They lose business. That hurts the businesses. We have to keep our business community healthy, just as we have to keep our residents healthy. So can you trust them? Well, I certainly hope so. Here's my take on the campaign contributions. First off, I don't benefit personally from them because they have to be spent under law on campaign-related items or returned to the donors or anything else. I personally find this very annoying. They're trying to question my integrity, saying that because I took a donation of $1,000 from a business that I'm now their puppet, if you will. Okay? I question them. This is not a question of my integrity. This is a question of their personal values. They obviously think somebody can be bought for $1,000 or less. This is their moral values reflected here, not mine, not the other candidates. You can see here the campaign contributions. Why are the businesses donating so heavily to myself, Mr. Kuhn, and Mary Lasik? Okay, well, because they don't need a repeat of the chaos that ensued in the county 3 years ago when the Board of County Commissioners tried raising impact fees and adopted a very anti-business platform. Okay, who do you have here? You have a known liar, Mr. Miller. He's proven to be lying under oath. And you have the mouthpiece for the POA, the woman who writes the newsletter for the POA. We're going to get to that in just a second. Can you trust them? Obviously, Mr. Miller was part of this agenda that attacked our business community. Not a good thing. The business community doesn't want these people in. But you know what? Mary and Todd and I also have received many donations from residents inside the villages and outside the villages that aren't associated with businesses. So there you go. I love this one. Please forward this email to all your friends and neighbors. Sign up for our voters newsletter. Take Back Sumter is independent of all candidates and PACs. It does not accept any monetary contributions. This was in there also. This is an ad for Miss Butterfield. And at the bottom of it, you see it says, let me see if my mouse, yep, there's the mouse. It says, approved and paid for by Deborah K. Deb Butterfield, Republican for Sumter County Commission, District 1. Now, I'm confused. If they don't accept any contributions and they're independent of any candidates, how is she paying for this? Where is this money going? Is there some campaign finance laws being broken here? I don't know. It might be worth looking into. Is this a PAC that's putting out this newsletter? Man, it sure fits the bill. So I don't know. So this is also in their ad. And notice the little graphic up here, a little cutout here. It's got Todd and Mary and I, and that's supposed to be Mark Morris there being a puppet master. Okay. Very interesting. Look at this. This is the cover of the latest POA bulletin. It's the exact same graphic. Here's something else on this thing. The email address that this was sent to was one I haven't used in over 5 years. And I don't generally give it out except for something that I expect to have very little traffic. I have my own domain, and I use email addresses like Best Buy at Disney Goldwing. It's actually a forward, so I can see if Best Buy were to sell me out. I had one for Sears. I got a couple hundred of email addresses that I all use to manage this. It's a technique that I use. But I did give it to the POA. Their graphics, I mean, obviously this email came off the POA's email list, okay? And the headline is Developer Puppet Rakes in Puppets rake in $282,313 in campaign donations. Now, let's read what they say about themselves. The Property Owners Association, POA, is the original property owners group in the villages established in 1975. The POA operates with complete independence from the developer of the villages. Okay, not a problem with that. Membership is open to all property owners and residents of the villages. Okay. The POA is committed to acting as a watchdog to ensure the developer and local government are responsive to the needs and interests and rights of residents. Okay, that's a great mission statement. let's see. Their vision statement, the Property Owners Association, POA, is a champion of the rights of the residents of the villages. Okay? Guided by member input, investigation, and determination, the POA brings attention to and acts on issues that may impact the property values and quality of life. Well, we've already talked about the impact on these impact fees on quality of life, or on property values. You start raising them, property values go in the tank. Here we go. The POA provides a forum for discussion of issues. 2, research and analysis. Okay, good things. 3, programs of interest. Great. And 4, a conduct for objective and accurate information. Specific attention is given to resolving housing community and local government issues. Objective and accurate. Developer puppets, I would say, is not objective. Values are independence, questionable. Honesty, definitely in question. Fairness, certainly not. Objectivity, nope. Respect, nope. Okay, so there you have it. And yes, next week they have a candidate night, and I will be there. I am ready to speak to their issues, and me being a developer's puppet, go for it. I don't care. Greg says, if they provide a forum, they should let you respond in their paper. You're right, they should. Will they? I seriously doubt it. I am not their chosen one. Anyway, so there you have it. That's that email. So, you know, it obviously comes from the POA. The evidence is all there. And, you know, now we know what their agenda is. Excuse me. All right. Well, thank you for suffering through that. I mean, it's an important issue. It's unfortunately they're putting out a lot of misinformation. They did the same thing 4 years ago over the 25% property tax increase. It was a 25% millage rate increase. And they said, oh, it went to pay for the developer's infrastructure. No. You know, it was a $21 million increase that the county funds needed. 11 million of that went to the repaving of Morris and Buena Vista, which is the county's responsibility. Trying to raise impact fees for that isn't going to happen. Impact fees aren't allowed to be used that. All they can be used for is increasing capacity and upgrading capacity. They can't, use it for maintenance. And that's what they wanted to do. Yeah, amazingly, you know, they tried raising the impact fees by 70%. 70% they wanted to raise it. And fortunately, our state legislatures stepped in and revived a bill that had been around for several years, because not only was Sumter County in this situation, but Orange County, Hillsborough County, and a couple other democratically controlled counties were in the same situation where county commissioners were trying to raise impact fees without justification. They stepped in and said, no, you can't do it. And they said, but here's what you can do. You can raise it 12.5% a year for 4 years without doing anything else. Okay, now remember, we needed this 70% increase. Okay, the state also said, if you want to raise it more than 12.5%, do an impact fee study, and then you can raise it. Because all you got to do is justify it. Well, they didn't raise it 12.5% that first year after the 70% was taken away. They didn't do an impact fee study because, remember, they needed the money. Obviously, they didn't need it because the impact fee didn't go up. And in fact, yes, the county just did an impact fee study, and it said, yeah, basically you need to adjust for inflation. But other than that, your impact fees were spot on. So, Muskie asks, says Catherine Hillier, most of the best of studies are paid PR pieces. I worked for a dermatologist that wanted to be chosen best dermatologist in Seattle. He paid a PR firm to make that happen. You're right. Okay. Victoria asks, are magic stairs and lift one unit, or are they two different things? They are two different things. One is a set of stairs. The other is a lift. You can get one without the other. My new house, I put both in. I liked what I saw. When Ron Berner came to me wanting to advertise on my videos, I'll be honest with you, I was looking, magic stairs, really? Magic stairs? It wasn't until I went to his house, we talked about it, and of course, he presses the button and the steps come down and slide out, and I'm a techie kind of guy, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Then I climbed up the steps, and I got halfway up, and I realized this was better than cool. This was an awesome product. And, I made a decision by the time I got to the top of the stairs and looked around at what it is providing, that when I added the golf cart garage to my courtyard villa, that I would put it in. And if I do add a golf cart garage to this courtyard villa before I sell it, then I probably will put it in. My new house, I put it in because I believe it's a good product. Like the ad says, for less than the cost of one emergency room visit. I think the cost is like about $7,000 to get both of them put in. Anyway, worth it, absolutely. It's cheaper than a fall going up the steps. My Christmas decorations are sitting in my garage because I refuse to take those big heavy crates back up into the attic this year. The Christmas tree is still sitting down in the garage. I'm not taking them up. I'm done climbing up those stairs. I got spoiled just by putting in magic stairs in the new house. Anyway, so reach out to Magic Stairs if you're interested. If you want to see them, reach out to me privately. I'll take you over to my new property and I'll show you them, and you can go up the stairs. They're definitely a good product. Let's see. Rich D says, thanks for clearing that up. BK says, we look forward to hearing you and your opponent debate the issues that affect our community. I look forward to it too. Joe B says, thanks for the information about the misinformation from the POS. Oops, POA. When I first arrived here, I noticed the negativity of the POS POA. Yeah, they are very anti-developer. Don is laughing. Joe says, in the next 20 years, Sumter County will collect $1 to $2 billion in increased taxes. We live in the best area in the country. Only a few negatives is the POA. One of the few negatives is the POA. Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think the POA started out as a good thing, okay? And they have done some good over the years. Their Vial of Life program is an outstanding idea. They've done some good things. Just like the VHA has done many good things. But they have, they've taken this I hate the developer stand, and they have run with it. And I know I'm going to get some negative comments on this because I know there's a lot of people that think the POA can do no wrong. I used to be a POA member. I let my membership lapse as I continue to watch their misguided information come out. Being a district supervisor and a county commissioner, I know what the facts are. I have to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. Well, I did until the governor had to execute what was required by the state law. But I know what the facts are, and I'm tired of the twisting of the facts. TFMPA says, think the new golf cart law will impact any roads in the villages. Doesn't the county municipality need to certify the road is golf cart safe? I don't think it's going to impact us at all here in the villages. As far, because our roads and our community is designed and built around golf carts being on the roads as well as on the multimodal paths. I don't know about the county and municipality needing to certify the roads. I know it's part of the design process, but I don't know the exact details on that particular aspect. I haven't been involved with it. I know that right now anything new going in the villages falls towards the city of Wildwood. It does not fall towards Sumter County because it's in the city of Wildwood, these areas. Victoria says, thanks. I will be getting both when we move there. Good idea. And Angel Eyes 222 says, any word on Water's Edge? So in the premiere that happened at 3 o'clock today, we're well over an hour. I got to wrap this one up. In that premiere, I talk about Water's Edge. They're not focused on it right now, but it's coming. They're working on the postal station. They're putting in walls for the veranda and Courtyard Villa homes. So it's coming, but it's still several months away. Hank, I haven't heard from you in forever. Hank is another drone pilot. What is going in by 466A and Micro Racetrack Road? I remember I meant to look up this one, and I've just been so busy with so many other things going on. I think it's some sort of grocery store, but I don't remember exactly. Anyway, so folks, we've been at this for well over an hour. There are 180 of you hanging out. It's been hanging up there at that level for over an hour, and I appreciate you showing up and listening to me, pardon the word, drone on and on, play on words. Anyway, my goal here is to give people good factual information, just as with my videos that I do. My goal is to give you good factual information and dispel many of the myths and misinformation. Many of the YouTubers that were on several years ago when I first started have gone to the wayside because much of the information they put out was hearsay or not based in fact. I try not to do it, put out anything that I can't find factual. So We Are All Americans says, regarding golf cart path safety, the Lake County Magasin portion between 470 and Homestead is a winding facility waiting to is a winding fatality waiting to happen. It's really no different than many of the other golf cart or main roads through the villages. I'm thinking of like Canal Street, Bailey Trail. It's really no different. I don't, if a fatality happens, it may happen. Yeah, okay. But I will tell you that the fatalities that have happened with golf carts, I don't know of anyone that's been directly attributed to a car driver, but they have been attributed to errors by the golf cart operators. TFMP says, Winn-Dixie bought the lot a few years ago, but Winn-Dixie was bought by Aldi. Yeah, you're right. And I think that's what it was. Anyway, hey, Joe, I just saw your donation come up in an email message. That's one of the nice things about the Apple things. They get little pop-up messages for everything. I appreciate the donation to my campaign. And if anybody else wants to donate to my campaign, I appreciate it. It takes a lot to run one of these campaigns. We're doing some things coming up. Elect Don Wiley is the website, electdonwiley.com. Yes, and please, everybody, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It all helps. Let's see. What else do we have in here? So that's about it. It is about 8 minutes to 5. I can smell dinner cooking right now. I'm not cooking today. My wife decided she wanted to cook some pasta. I'm not going to argue. I cooked burgers on the grill last night, and they were delicious. Okay. Victoria says, one last question. What are taxes like in a new neighborhood like your new neighborhood? So they're higher than in my current neighborhood. Now, where I'm at right now is not in the city of Wildwood. It is in Sumter County unincorporated. I don't pay Wildwood city taxes, and that's the way it is pretty much in most of the villages north of 44. There's a couple of small pockets like I think Antrim Dells and Alden Bungalows, and what's the other one? There's another set of courtyard villas down there by Brownwood. They're in Wildwood. They got to pay Wildwood city taxes, and that's roughly $1,300 extra. Your tax bill is made up of many components. County property tax, which continues to decrease. City of Wildwood, if you live in the city of Wildwood. It also includes school taxes. Swift Mud has a small fee that goes in there. Your maintenance assessment is included. Your bond is included in that. I think on my new house that I bought, I don't get a homestead exemption because it's not my primary residence. I don't live there, so I have to pay the full burden of the property tax. It is roughly $9,000. When I look at my my current tax bill for my current house, my courtyard villa, I don't have a bond because I paid it off several years ago because I said I would never move. Okay, I was wrong. It's about $3,200 is what I'm paying, so it's much more reasonable. But I have a good homestead exemption. I had another house before I moved here many years ago down in Polk County. I have my portability, which saves me a lot in taxes. Plus, I get my homestead exemption, which is $25,000 for myself, $25,000 for Debbie, that comes off the top value of the taxable property. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit higher, but $8,000 to $9,000 is probably not unheard of. All right, folks, that's all I've got for today. Let's wrap this up. We'll do this again next week, 3 o'clock. What was it? Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me. Please send me your questions. Oh, I had one more question. I wanted to capture this one because I thought it was a great one. This is from Bill. He says, "Hi, Don. Has there been any recent chatter on the Crystal Lagoons rumor coming to the villages? Moving back to the villages in Shady Brook after a year away in Texas and don't want to be close to the congestion, noise, and traffic that it would bring. Crystal Lagoons is not coming to the villages. There's no place for it. There is no need for it. Got to understand what Crystal Lagoons is. It's not just a water park. It's also a heat sink for a large facility. So maybe if you have a server farm, one of these big server farm buildings like Apple or, the different, Amazon has several big data centers. They generate a lot of heat. They use that waste heat, to heat the water. Okay, so it works as a heat sink for that. And it's much more efficient to use water than air. So that's where it works. We don't have any facility like that. We don't have a big hospital like that. That's a heat source. So, and I'll tell you right now, the villages isn't going to give up, a couple hundred acres to build this thing for something they don't have any control over. It's an expense, an added expense to tap into something like this, especially for like a hospital, because not only would you have to use this as your heat sink, but you have to have a backup heat sink. And cooling towers are much cheaper to build than something like this. So we're not going to see Crystal Lagoons. All right, folks, that's all I've got for today. Thanks again for joining me. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you next week.